Before we jump into our verse this week, which is Luke chapter 2, verse 13, I just wanted to recap a lot of what's been happening here in the recent events in this Gospel of Luke. As we're going through this section, we're leading to the birth of Jesus. In fact, Jesus had just been born. But the way our discussions have been going, it's a lot about how God is working in the world, working in our lives, and it often brings fear and all these different feelings because it's not happening in the way we expect it. God sees one thing and we see another. Often we expect God to do things and he chooses a total different way to do them, and we end up disappointed and fearful. Coming off of Jason's message last week where God promised us a Savior and a Messiah, and people are thinking about this great warrior with armies, and he gives us that little baby. I thought that was a great example, and it leads into what I'm going to be talking about today very well. In verse 13, it says, "Suddenly the angel was joined by a vast hope of others, the armies of heaven, praising God." And that image right there, the armies of heaven, that was the expectations that people were expecting when they said, oh, a Messiah is going to come to save everyone, was a great warrior, and with armies that could overthrow governments. And that is essentially what happened here, right? That one angel that the shepherds saw actually had a host, a vast army of angels with him, but nobody saw that. And it brings to mind the verse that, focus not on what is seen, but the unseen. That's where God lives, especially in our world, in the unseen. He's working in ways that aren't always right in front of our face. And going back to verse 12, in my NLT version, says, "And you will recognize him by this sign." Recognize him. Are we recognizing the work that God is doing in this world every day? Or are we looking for one thing when he's actually doing another to bring about his result, not our result? So this week, I just wanted to spend a little time, each of us, in our own way, maybe thinking about that. Think about how God is working in the world and maybe you don't recognize it. And if you come up with one of those connections in your life or something you see in the world in general, feel free to share it in the comments below, that we might just start a discussion about those ways that God's working that we just don't see and we just don't understand. We'll catch you next week on Wednesday Wisdom.